I was so how are things with the semantic pipeline?
I'm at like the last step before you make it onto a pipeline with
hmm
the SHACL shapes.
Yeah.
And one question I was kind of thinking about for like the SPARQL and the SHACL is that you might like have your queries like seem like they're fine, like they're good. But I feel like that could depend on one, like how your ontology is set up, and two, like how these queries are written. So like if they're just bad and they're missing things, will like the auto grader have a way of like checking that and like
Yeah. So I'm hoping to have given you enough guidance so that you are able to write the SHACL shapes like as literally as you can and have my tests evaluate you appropriately. So, but you're right to point out this kind of potential disconnect. So I'd called attention to this last time by saying, you might think I'll just like read this shackle shape description and write some super minimal, weak shape that doesn't actually like really get at the heart of this. And then I was like, that's fair because then in your local pipeline it will run, it'll be fine. But then what's going to happen is it'll come against my test, and I've got a shape that is really picking out what I'm looking for in the semantics, and you might not pass that if you're too weak, too minimal. Um, but so I said that as like kind of I was like, you're not going to be able to trick any way out of this, right? But there is a possible world nearby, a likely one, where you've written a shape that does actually capture the semantics, well enough. And but my test is not written in a way that matches up with the shape that you've written. I'm gonna have to look at the shapes. I'll be frank. I'm gonna have to look at the shapes on a case by case basis because there are multiple ways to shape the file, right? And so I will be checking some of that manually. The test itself is going to be used to sort of sort out the those kind of maybe weak cases where you try to like trick the system or trick the pipeline. But yeah, I guess this is just to say I'm not assuming that just because you haven't passed the SHACL shape on my test that you did it wrong. I'm just gonna have to look at it. It's kind of undetermined. My test is not universal. I feel better about the SPARQL queries because they're kind of not that there's just one way to write the queries. It's more or less that there have become somewhat standardized ways to do pattern matching or graph matching. And those queries on my test are actually testing like test data. So I'm like, did you get this data? Does your query get the same data? And if not, I'm like, well, something went. As opposed to SHACL, which is like error or yay, or does that make sense?
well about the you say like the queries compare data. Well, isn't the goal like for them not to output anything? Because aren't the rows the errors?
Yeah, that's right. So I have like, yeah, ideally they're gonna like not output anything, right? So they have zero, but I do have data that tests the kind of matching of the SPARQL query. So like I'll have, and you won't see this, yeah, you shouldn't see any rows output, but I'll like plug in data and say, is this a good match? Is this the match that you should see? Is it not? Thumbs up, thumbs down. It's like if I'm asking you to have like, one RDFS label that has an English tag, like there are a couple of points of failure. I will test with various types of triples that have all those points of failure, and it'll give me a report. Does your query capture that? Even if for you, it should come back with zero. Again, I'll be more or less eyeballing the SPARQL because I feel like the tests are pretty good, but I'll still be looking a little closely at that. Mostly, I'm going to have to look closely at the SHACL. Sorry.
Do you think you could give like little explanation into like the last part to where you like make everything into like a automated,
like bring it all together in the
yeah.
pipeline. Yeah, so have you ever worked with a YAML file?
No,
Okay. So yeah, let me ask you this. Have you gotten, so you've gotten everything but the SHACL?
I've got everything except one shackles.
One SHACL?
The one with the measurement
Okay.
according to like a specific kind of SDC.
Yeah. So let me pull up then this project page. Okay, so you want to see, so I should have. So here, have you taken a gander at the, what you doing? Oh, the workflow doc. Have you checked this out? So GitHub Actions is what we're going to be calling it. GitHub Actions is it's a pretty cool feature of GitHub where you can kind of trigger certain things to happen in a workflow. If you have a code up here, you're like, hey, I want you anytime this event happens in your repo, I want you to do this thing. And so for us, the event that we're looking for is when you're say local computer, you like move that sensor underscore c.csv file, you just kind of move it over into the right data directory. And then you save it, you push it over. If you set up your YAML correctly, your workflow correctly, what it'll do is it'll trigger these things to run, these four. So it'll trigger exactly what you've been working on. It's like ETL script, RDF lib, SPARQL QC, and then SHACL validation. And then you should get some check marks or something like that, just some confirmation that you've done each correctly. I did provide some guidance here. It may have buried the lead a bit, but this is because I wanted to make sure that your scripts were updated. I didn't want you to be on wild goose chases. So you'd have to update your ETL script so that it can accommodate the addition of this file. And then make sure your repository, your apparently repository structure. Hopefully that misspelling isn't used. So that's such a bad thing to do, a syntax error when I'm talking about your repository structure. Great. So this is just hoping that you have a structure that looks like this, because your YAML file will be calling, it will be attending to this, your scripts will be attending to this. It's really easy to move something in the wrong directory and then things go haywire and not be sure why. Think about when you're thinking about like the like a specific file, like a sparkle.rq file. As far as the scripts are concerned, as far as the YAML is concerned, as far as these like workflows are concerned, when they're looking for the path, like where that file is, the file name isn't exactly what they're looking for. They're looking like the file name, or what that isn't exactly how you track, your machine. It's like all of the string that leads to that directory structure all the way up. Like that's the name, like the whole thing, which is why you'll see if you sometimes if you move certain files from high up in your directory structure and you go to commit it, it just deletes the whole structure and creates a new one. It's like you've deleted an embedded structure and the whole file name is gone. So, but you should think in those terms. The name is actually from all the way. It's like the beginning of the root all the way to the end of the RQ. That'll be the same. So, but because of that, you can see this, more simply as a human with these kind of embedded hierarchies, but normalize readings.py. Part of the name of that file, as far as the machine is concerned, is src/scripts/. Okay, so once you've done that, again, you'll be moving this sensor underscore c CSV into the data folder, push and commit, and then that'll be, you've done your YAML correctly. That'll set off a trigger, a workflow that fires everything else off. So I also put some troubleshooting These are things that troubleshooting is one of those situations where it's hard to give an exhaustive list. So these are things that I've encountered. And there may be many reasons why some of these things will or won't run, but I've just tried to list in some common ones. So you must add a brand new file under SRC data. This might be caused by workflow didn't run. So there's like matching between the files that are there. There's a diff evaluation between the files that are there and the files that aren't. And so sensor underscore A, sensor underscore B, like the actual content is being evaluated against sensor underscore C. So if you have a sensor underscore C and it either looks like sensor underscore A or it looks exactly like sensor underscore B, or it looks like a copy of sensor underscore C that you already have there because maybe you forgot to refresh or something, it's not going to run because it's triggered on a new file. So there's that. You may have missed the new data. Go back to your ETL script if you missed it with your ETL. Make sure it reads all the files and source data, all the files. Just check that. This is why I had that kind of update your ETL script above. Kept coming up as an issue. SPARQL with SHACL failed. Read the logs in the actions view. So when you run a workflow, you can go here to actions. And you can see what happened. Let me make this a little easier to play. You can kind of see what happened. So just click on project 4. So this was one of our good friends. Kick this bad boy over. Test. So this is sort of what's going on the server side when you kick off a workflow. That's this kind of setup. With some background info, blah, 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 checkout, blah, 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 debugging, blah, blah, blah. You're welcome to work through this on your own time if you want to see the details. There's importing things that it needs, installing requirements that it needs. Here's where you're going to see, is it here? Yeah, here's where I think this is where you'll see errors if you get any. Let me look at one of the error files.
This is project 3, I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna look over here. Yeah, okay. So run tests. So after install dependencies, after all the clearing has gone on, yeah, then you'll be running tests. If it goes poorly, you'll get an X here, but you can see that. You can go see exactly what went wrong, and you can kind of dig in. It'll list failures for you. Some of this will, sometimes it's a little challenging to sort through. Sometimes I will find or search for words like failed, like highlight, for example, fail. Something like that. 11 instances. Okay, failures here. Tell me where. Failed test required to have labels, right? And so what this is saying is that the test ran this query against the file. It wasn't able to find the labels it was supposed to. Here it gives some kind of explanation for what's going on. That's usually a good indicator. What happened here is saying it can't find the turtle file under Ontology Tradecraft project 2. I can see just by looking at this, there's a double embedding of the directory ontology ontology -tradecraft, ontology -tradecraft. So that may be because your local environment has a directory named ontology tradecraft, and then you brought in ontology tradecraft under it, and so you have that. That may cause issues when you kick it over here because there's just one ontology tradecraft directory name. So that might be something to look at. Seems like this is coming up a lot, so I would, which is good and bad, right? If it's good, if it's the same error, all right, that's fantastic. Just one thing to focus on. If you get these failures, at least for this test, then you just get an exit. So the code, the workflow stop, it'll kick it back to you and say you got to fix something. You'll probably, when you're running your workflow through, get errors. right? It's not uncommon. It's in fact almost a rite of passage. I set this and other exercises up to kind of give you, I mean, I've laid traps for you guys. I wanted you to get exposure to this. The first time I ever did this, encountered debugging like this, was on the job. And I was like, I broke the build. As we say, I broke the build. And I was like, oh no, they're gonna fire me because I had no idea the context. And Neil just met, I texted him and I said, I broke the build. And he goes, welcome to the team. And I was like, oh, it's fine. And then I broke the build many other times. So did he, so did we all. It's just kind of common. It's kind of coding the stuff is challenging. So you getting used to breaking it, getting used to failure, that's fine. The debugging part is the important part. So then you're getting kind of a fire hose of some of this in these exercises by design, because I want you to both get accustomed to it. You will fail, it's okay. But also like accustomed to reading the error messages, accustomed to like thinking through what possibly went wrong, like internalize something that the common missteps, like paths, like real syntax, like those kind of common syntax errors. And also like instill, if you're not using some kind of linter on yours in VS Code, you should, because it's really easy to miss a comma or a period or something. Silly mistakes like that, but they can really just break your whole project. So let's see. So where was it? So yeah, this was on, I was pointing to this troubleshooting stuff here at the bottom. So this is what I mean by read the logs in the actions view. So you click on actions, it'll tell you what went wrong. If you get a big old X, you'll see it. Then fix your SHACL so that nothing happens, or your SPARQL or whatnot. I also put at the bottom, hopefully you've been using this because it'll save you a bunch of time. Like you can just run these scripts locally to check your work. Like if you get like passing for all of them, you can run them all at once, by the way. You can run them as if it's a workflow. You just copy and paste them all and run them. And if you get all the 4 check marks, okay, now you're ready to kick over to the enable.
So you get the actual workflow to run.
Mhm.
The first thing that you have to push is like all the required stuff minus sensor C, and that will be like a push. And then when that's present in your repository, then you push sensor C, and then that will set up everything.
Yeah, so you'll have that's it, that's right. So on 7, after you've got your scripts, you finish the SHACL, got that last shape. You got a YAML file, and it will run the ETL script when you add the new data to source data. So you've already like run it to test. And so what this YAML file will do is it's going to bring in like, or it's going to be set up so that when you add that sensor underscore C CSV file over to data, it'll kick off a workflow. This will, their workflow guide to help you debug. Then you're gonna move that file over. You're gonna push it over. And fingers crossed. If done correctly, you'll kick off the build with the new data following your RDF lib script following, and hopefully this is why it's important to put it in the right place in the file structure. Because I'll be like looking for the RDF lib script that you wrote. Be updating sensor, or that measure underscore CC or kernel file. And I'll be looking for your SPARQL and SHACL to run against that. If you're successful in that, you're able to do that all together. You get a check marks for those from the YAML. Push it over and you're done.
Do you have like
hopefully
extra files, like test files, would that set off an error?
It can, if you have some, off the top of my head, if you have some extra files in the SPARQL folder, if they are .rq files, they will get read.
Yeah.
So make sure they're valid RQ files. That's all. You can have more. If you have more files that aren't RQ files, it should be fine. But I do know just off the top of my head that script's looking for any RQs in there. So if you put in like a bad SPARQL code in our SPARQL query there, you're going to get an error, if it's not great or if it's invalid.
I don't have like extra SPARQL files, but I do have like test files of like the Python scripts,
Mm.
would those get read?
This should be fine because the query is, or the,
You have to like match the name.
Yeah, it's not trying to, so definitely make sure you match the name. But if you have other scripts in there, it should be fine. So I'm not looking for those. And to my, I may be wrong, I don't think I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, there's only like one underscore. I'm sorry, not underscore, there's only one asterisk or Q where I'm like, look everywhere in here just to make sure. And that's for the SPARQL query folder. Yeah, I guess I'll say something too about this grading. So the canonical scheme of the ETL guide, that's essentially what I'm looking for. So your ETL script should just match the canonical output. It's not crazy, like it's not too crazy to get it into that format. So just make sure that like your script is in that format. What came up last time we were discussing, this may not be obvious. Happy to share though, at least for this exercise. So in you will have noticed, no doubt, that in sensor underscore A and sensor underscore B and sensor underscore C, there's some, cells that are either improperly formatted, don't have the right input, or just blank. So a natural question, what do I do? What do I do with that? So I sort of was leaving that up to you. I followed the tried and true method of just dropping that whole row. So now there are many other things you can do, and like ETL strategists have ways to get around this. They can kind of like input information, like infer information in various ways to maybe update or maybe seek out more information so they can populate the cells appropriately. For our purposes, it's fine to just drop it. So you may be the case that you've dropped a bunch of rows. That's fine. It's not like all of them were missing information. Some of them, most of them are properly formatted. So if your scripts drop rows, that's fine, as long as they're the right rows to drop. I don't test that they're the right rows to drop. So just FYI. Let's see. So yeah, I will be testing that your measure.rd or underscore rdflib PyScript generates measure underscore CCO, and that it aligns with the design pattern. So that I do have a test that checks, that is basically checking the design pattern match. So the design pattern is not too complicated. So it's easy to code to just make sure that you have, say, the right object properties, the right CCO terms that were mentioned. Hopefully you have used, CCO IRI, EFO IRI, reuse, right? I'll be checking that. You should be checking that as well. So your then for 8 valid SPARQL queries according to the guidance provided. I have some test data that checks the kind of ways in which I know some of these you kind of miss some things with SPARQL here and there. SHACL file, there's some minimum constraints on that to make sure that you're not doing like just the bare minimum, but I also need to go and inspect those manually because again, there are various ways to write the shapes. And then your pull request should include that sensor C underscore that runs successfully the main course directory. I'll be able to check for what it's worth that you were able to run your local YAML file successfully. And that's a win. If you do encounter, no doubt you will encounter like pushing over to my side and not running successfully, I'll point that out to you. And so instead of just like tagging you and be like, try again, I'll try to point to where the failure is and help you debug. This can be a little nuanced. And so I'll go look at your actions. I'll go look to see what one, or I'll go look in your files and see what I can help you correct.
So the pull request that we're like pushing into your repository is just us wanting to merge the sensor C.
Yes, you'll have dropped that in and you'll have run your local, like successfully run your local action. And then you'll open a pull request for me. And then there, I'll be able to click run workflow for my tests. My tests are gonna be different. And then I'll run my tests against yours. And then I'll, thumbs up or thumbs down. And if I get thumbs down, I'll reach out to you and be like, here's what went wrong. And I'll try my best to explain in detail. Because again, it's a little subtle, right? And so I really want you to get that down. Again, this is one of the reasons why I've extended the deadline. I want to make sure that not just you're able to run it locally, but also like debug it effectively. And I know for some folks, this is kind of first time you're running workflows. I assume maybe all of you. Tim, this is the first time you wrote a workflow, right? Tim's like an expert at this. Hopefully I didn't say anything stupid right here.
Yeah, not a fan of YAML.
Yeah. I feel you. So any other questions?
Sure, always,
Of course.
but I'll wait a bit.
Okay. All right.
I see I have a question.
Hmm.
Should we make new branches for every project? Because say you want to like submit this project, but you also have to submit a previous one. How do you do it so like your push isn't like every single thing, every single command?
Yeah, you can make new branches. You just push those changes one at a time. I know some folks are sending over their whole like every single time. It's like I'm sending the whole thing. What happens there is the tests are run like all together. So like if you're pushing projects 1 through 3, the way the testing is set up in my place is that it's just like, okay, you've changed project 1, you've changed project 2, you changed project 3. Now all the tests are triggered. If you've not changed anything for project 1 and 2, but it could bog it down. Like if you have like a lot of significant, like let's say you've for project 4, you send over CCO underscore measure that also contains all of CCO. Like that might, in combination with the other 3 projects all running, it might take a while. You'll probably finish, but easy cleaner, I think, to create branches. And then several of your peers have done that. Just send them one at a time.
Something you can do is make it so GitHub Actions only run for new commits to a branch that has an open pull request. That makes sense. So that way, yeah, I mean, you're doing it less often and only at the point at which you're like, if you have a pull request open, that's when you want to really be testing stuff. So that's how I usually have it set up, is only for commits to an open pull request as opposed to just any branch.
Yeah, I can adjust that and probably save time. So far, we have it set up so that I choose, at least on the main, I choose whenever the workflows are run.
Oh yeah.
So that, but I like that. That would help because I'd rather not go in and push the button.
Well, what's really cool is you can make it so you can't actually merge a pull request unless the tests pass, which is like really nice, safety thing.
No, that's actually set up in there, but I haven't been merging any of them. Because I mostly just want this for documentation. So the main repo on my end stays clean. But yeah, no, absolutely. Don't merge unless you pass the test. That's what I'm most familiar with. Otherwise, you'll do what I did. Just break the bill over and over. I feel like folks in the room are like just already working on their projects, basically.
That's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I'm glad. I kind of that's my preference for this meeting. And the previous one actually was kind of do more work. because there's a lot to do and I just want to make sure. Okay. And I'm here to provide guidance. So if you are inclined to do so, I don't want to fight that urge. So feel free. Project 4, let's knock it out. And then I'll talk to you more next time about ML and the LLM. And I'll walk around and provide guidance, but you had a question, sir.
Yeah, I got two questions, I think. So I can actually get project 4 to run okay,
Right.
but with a bit of cheating, and I don't feel good about that.
Okay.
No, I don't want to cheat. No, serious. I looked at the tests
Mhm.
and I found two things that were sort of unexpected for me, and I'm sort of looking like, is this an Easter egg or is it something I'm supposed to correct, or did I just didn't look good enough? And I actually sort of made a pull request just before going on vacation, so it was sort of a last minute thing. So it might just that I need to put in some extra time. But one thing is, one of the tests actually contained a syntax error, I thought.
Mm.
That's sort of the optional number 3, and I think there's a set of braces missing.
Mhm.
And because there's sort of a line, something like a normal line with a statement, and then it says a filter, and then a union, and yeah, that
Mm.
you need to put sort of the normal statement and the filter between braces. Might that be an old version I'm looking at?
Let me see.
I actually I posted it in the channel also.
Mhm. Am I looking at in the right place? So you've made this, I've got spaces here, spaces here.
Let me. Yeah, so it's the optional thing,
Uh-huh.
and I think that says something number 3 optional. Yeah, and I think here you got an MA mice, and then you got a filter, and then you got a union under it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think this is correct.
Okay.
So that's one observation. Another one is, but this might just be something like, Sonny, you need to look harder. Is sort of that you're sort of asking like, hey, stick a measurement unit and a value on a mice,
Mm-hmm.
while measurement units really prefer to be stuck on information-bearing entities.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, in your example PowerPoint, you sort of do it that way. And I'm sort of like, okay, that could be shorthand for figure it out, which I would think is reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
But then you do the same thing in your test. And then I think like, yeah, you describe this in your PowerPoint and in the test. So it sounds like you really want it. But I think it really leads to an inconsistent ontology. So as long as I don't reason over my ontology, all my tests go well. But I would like to reason over my ontology, obviously.
You mean like reason over it in the context of CCO?
Well, just make sure that all the subclasses are there. Just make
Yeah.
sure that everything gets pushed down, because then also quality would. If I would choose to not use a quality, but for example,
Mhm.
a realizable entity, I would like to have the quality pushed down.
Sure. Yeah.
That sort of subtleties. Maybe I'm making too much out of it.
I think no, I mean I know what you're picking up on. So if you're thinking about it in the context of, the broader CCO model, certainly a sense in which there's tension between what I presented in the PowerPoint and how that model usually goes or is presented. That is by design. The information model is being changed.
Yeah,
And you're kind of getting a sneak peek at some of it.
nice.
If you are embedding it in, the broader CCO, there's certainly going to be tension. I don't know that it'll be inconsistent because CCO is so under axiomatized.
It is, because measurement unit is assigned to information bearing entity, which is an
Yeah.
IC,
Right.
and a mice is a GDC,
Right.
and that really doesn't fly.
Yeah. So again, like giving you the a snippet. No, note though, importantly, well, I totally agree with the desire to like run a reasoner. Note importantly, I did not have you run a reasoner on here for a reason. Yeah.
So it might be I'm just done. I mean, just saying. I
No, no,
mean, I'm fine with being done. Also, it's sort of if this is the spirit of
yeah, yeah,
the
you're
project.
picking it up. You're picking up on the right things because you have the broader context in mind. And you do, I mean, ultimately we do want to reason over this, but we are currently in the process of changing the model. And so I couldn't bring myself to use the old pattern for this class. And so I decided, I'm gonna push in the direction that we're heading. But you're right to observe in the broader scope of CCO that wouldn't fly. So that was intentional. The what you're pointing to with the options clause, that I don't recall, I didn't do that intentionally. So I'm gonna have to look at that. But I'm
Yeah,
happy
it's
to
just an extra set of braces. Yeah, you skip past it if you go up, go
those
up.
right here.
If you stop here, it
Okay.
is on line 166, I think. I'm doing this from my head, but
Got it.
this,
Good job,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Oh, I see. I see. Interesting. Okay.
yeah. I just need some extra braces, and then it's
Got
fine.
it. Well, that's good.
Yeah, okay. CCO is going to change. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because basically, yeah, again, I really want, I mean, voltage, I think, is a realizable entity if not a function, So I thought, like, if I get to push it down, then the
Mhm.
quality, even if I model it as a realizable entity, I hope, but
Mhm.
my knowledge is shaken, but the quality should be, I hope it would be pushed down too, and it
Yeah,
would actually say, hey, I got a quality,
that's right. We can definitely, I mean, that ultimately that will be the plan. So we'll want to be able to recover that information if it's needed. This comes up most often. I mean, the real felt need is when we're dealing with cybersecurity on these because it's so often important that you need to go from the information directly down to the hardware and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
various manifestations. And so it hasn't been that kind of information bearing connection
yeah.
hasn't been so necessary in a lot of CCO modeling, but as we get over in that space, it's just crucial. And so,
I
yeah,
got some ideas, by the way, also on security and how to model that out. As in,
yeah,
yeah, maybe that could be interested to. How should I sort of mention that? Sort of not in a heavy way, but I
sure.
can just mention it to you now.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think now let's do it in another context because this is
yeah.
the other
I'm
context.
happy to discuss. And in fact,
Yeah.
there's a CCO IEEE group about that meets around cyber
Okay. Got it. Yeah.
that's going on. Alex Scully is the chair.
Yeah.
And then we will be shortly, like this coming year, setting up a cyber ontology foundry on the model of OBO and the IOF because there are a bunch of cyber efforts going on and we need to bring them around. And so
Great.
the one of the heads of that is I don't know if you're familiar, but Peter uh I'm not going to pronounce his name correctly. Peter Kallimakis, I think at MITRE, and then Michael
Okay.
Smith, a much easier name to pronounce, also at MITRE. They're the heads of the Defend project.
Okay. Great.
So MITRE's got that attack and defend and they're going to be, parts heads, operating members of the Foundry effort. So, and they have meetings. They go on.
Okay.
They've been meeting as part of the DoDIC. Well, it's the National Security Ontology Foundry. They've been having meetings regularly to promote cyber ontologies that will go into this large Foundry ecosystem that is going to sit in, the U.S. government. So
Got it.
it'll have cyber stuff. It
Yeah.
won't be open source, but
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
I can put you in touch with any and all of those people if you like.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, in all honesty, I'm scavenging. I mean, I'm independent. So I'm always looking also for some kind of deal somewhere because otherwise it's all
Yeah.
self-finance. So I'm always sort of trying to find that edge, like to contribute, but also to, yeah, look after
Yeah, yeah,
playing the
absolutely.
rent, but
We
yeah,
so if that's the case, let's talk after this.
okay.
If you're looking if you're looking for both of those angles, some opportunities have jumped into my lap that I actually literally had you in. I was like, if only he were free.
Oh,
And I
oh,
was
I
like,
am.
but
Yeah,
you are. Oh,
yeah,
that's super helpful because there's some cool stuff we should talk.
great.
Uh, do, can I, if I drop my phone number in the chat, can you
Yeah,
call after well, later today? I
yeah.
won't be free right after, but I'll be free at like 5 my time. Um, if you just text me, I can give actually if you just text me now, I can give you a call when I'm free if and then we can
Yeah, sure.
play tag, but
Yeah,
yeah,
cool. Great.
that'd be a great help.
Okay. Yeah, so if I understand it well, the reasoning is just a bit out of scope.
Mhm.
And if it works without reasoning, it's basically it's good enough for the spirit of this project.
That's right. That's right.
Well,
Yeah. Full reasoning isn't going to get us there, but like the targeted reasoning and
yeah.
validate will be fine. And then as we get you know, the new and improved, as they say, as I say, CCO out.
Okay. Cool. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we are in earnest doing that thing we do, which is where we're working on project 4. I folks in here are doing it on their own. You can see. I also would encourage folks online to do the same. So we can do the same, sort of similar setup the last time. You guys work together, share screen and whatnot, or perhaps maybe start off by just asking where other folks are in the group, so we can get on the same page about working together. I would like some collaboration. So I suspect a lot of you can learn from the other lot of you on this project. So how does that sound, you guys online? You feel like you can work together in group?
Yeah, sort of. I am in Rome, sort of on vacation, so I'm sort of like,
Take your vacation, man. I love
yeah.
love to see you, but enjoy it. Don't get raining, right?
Yeah,
If you want to,
I jumped in way late because I had work to do. I had to
Yeah,
run a meeting. So I'm not quite sure where we're at, and I'm way behind, but I'm always happy to
awesome.
collaborate with whoever's got.
So I'm gonna look at Christian and Alex because I know Alex, we stayed on for a while last time working through things. I know Christian's probably been working through things too. I'm gonna ignore our guy in Rome and let him take his vacation. uh, so Christian, Alex, you guys want to take a lead here? Like just start jumping into project 4, maybe sharing where you are and seeing if other people are in the same ballpark or farther ahead or not.
Yeah, I mean, I did not have a lot of time since I was still like working last week, so I've only had like one day
Okay.
and not even a full day, maybe like half a day. But yeah, I could share where I'm at.
Fun.
Uh,
Yeah.
oh,
If anything, would be a good opportunity to maybe get some assistance. Remember that whole shtick. What a great question. Good thing I'm in a room full of smart people that can help me.
no, that's true. That's true. All right. Think this should be fine. All right. Sharing the screen here. You guys seeing what I'm cooking?
Yep.
All right, right on. Yeah, so just to kind of go over where I'm at, I'm pretty much at step, oh gosh, what step was I on? 4. So I'm trying to remember the SPARQL queries, or remember how to write SPARQL queries because I hadn't done it in a little bit. Um, so I'm on step 3 right now. So I'm still pretty early on in project 4. I got through step 1 and 2, though admittedly, not sure if they're right just yet, because I'm trying, I don't know, like for me, I just kind of go through all the steps first, get to a spot where I feel comfortable where it's pretty much done, and then I kind of go down. Once I start testing everything, I'll start like seeing all the errors and I'll be like, oh, sweet. I need to fix a bunch of stuff, and then I'll start debugging a bunch of things as I go through. Um, One of the things that I've also been doing is just kind of taking a peek at the tester project for test, and just kind of seeing what John's testing for. Um, and that kind of helps, like if I'm lost in any way, I'll like take a peek in here. I'll be like, okay, what is he testing for? Like this queries. And then there's not much here, obviously. Well, this is the first time I'm looking at step 3, but yeah, there's not a lot here, but sometimes it just helps guide me, especially for like uh, part 2 where like the RDF build. I'm just like, oh, okay, he's looking for some specific things here and there. So I try to I try to make sure that I include those things into my file as I'm making it. Um, but yeah, I don't know if anybody else is further ahead. I'm kind of in the boring section of trying to just like, again, write SPARQL queries. So if somebody else has more to share, I know John said Alex is
Yeah, I'm unfortunately in a bit of a predicament at the moment. I'm in the car, so I might not be able to help too much at this exact second, but if you give me like 20, 30 minutes, I should be home and I'll be happy to help as best as I can. I'm listening though. I just probably can't help too much. I apologize.
no, you're fine. I was in the same boat last week. So.
This may be a good opportunity to just like, all right, so you're stuck on the query, right? So what do we do? What do I always say to do?
Ask it out.
Ask it LLM. It's, if anything, it's a good place to start. You can see it'll give you a, think of it like this. It's easier to work from a draft, right? It's not gonna be perfect, but plug it in and see what it comes up with and then tinker with it. You know,
Yeah,
really
that's
stuck. Really stuck.
spoiler alert. That's what I was doing.
Heck yeah. There we go. All right.
I was
All
already
right.
kind of like, okay, what is it doing? But I don't know about everybody else, but I'll just like walk you through my like what I do whenever I look at an LLM, like response and stuff. I'll like try to understand what it's doing and just like reverse engineer. Like obviously it gives me like what it's doing here, like, oh, it's getting all classes. But I just kind of take like I walk my way through as I'm like typing it out manually, like trying to like, oh, okay, even though I could copy it. I just try to like really like bake in like what is it doing? Why am I like I'm following its footsteps, trying to make sure it's tracking.
But there are two copilots, copilots and copilots 365, and they are identical, but they're two apps.
Oh, interesting.
I mean,
Well, yeah, that way you get.
But that's what I do. I don't know if anybody else has like
Really good for me.
Okay.
questions or responses here, but I will just keep trucking on along here.
Okay, good.
I can't see the exact context of what we're talking about, but one thing I would always do, or one thing I always do at least with LLMs is if you're gonna input, like let's say you're inputting some of John's code or his queries, ask it to, depending which one you're using, ChatGPT is a little better at this, Claude's obviously better at the coding part, but ask it to kind of explain back to you what it's doing and then ask the question that John is asking you, whatever specific part you're working on, and say, if I were to use like this framework to, or this same type of querying to ask this type of question or to get these results, what are some ways that I could write it? Because it helps A, learn a little bit so you don't have to exactly copy paste like you were saying, but also B, it answers in like a couple different ways usually, which allows you to get the right answer instead of just have to deal with like the first slop that it puts out.
That's good advice. Let me add some more pro tip in here. So, I'm asking all classes must have a BFO superclass for this, right? So you're not going to get any dangling classes. There are only so many ways you can construct triples, period. And there are only so many ways you can construct triples that violate that like requirement. And so you might also, just as a test, have a little toy turtle file and then write a script that runs against it, knowing that if it runs against that turtle file, it will be in violation. So for example, you have BFO imported, you create a file or a class outside of entity. So there's no, and what that means is there's no, you have an IRI and there's no subclass of something in BFO, right?
Right.
That's the break. that your SPARQL query should return something that satisfies that, or that it would return that little entity or the thing that sits outside the entity hierarchy. And that would be a violation. What you want to look for or create are files that don't have anything sitting outside of that subclass hierarchy. So again, you can test this with your own data. And you can do that for all of the queries. Like just think through and keep in mind, there are only a handful of ways in which these things can go wrong. There's only a handful of ways in which you can create structures. So how do you break it? Test your SPARQL query against the broken files.
Mm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Literally how I write SPARQL. How would I break it?
Does anyone have a good reference for like how SPARQL is basically like the equivalent of a data dictionary for what's possible in SPARQL, like the syntax and I'm not quite sure
There's
exactly what to
it's
call
like
it, but just how it's structured.
yeah, there's an introduction to SPARQL. There's like a SPARQL handbook. It's like a volume. I tell people you don't really read it. You just kind of keep it next to your desk and like you look into it if you need to. But it
Okay.
gives like an exhaustive characterization of what you can do. I've tried to summarize, some of the highlights in the lectures that I give on this topic. I kind of try to boil down a lot of that book. But I can send it to you. Actually, if you should be able to find it under my Logic for Ontologists seminar because it was one of the required readings. And I believe I just posted it up in that file or in that
Okay.
directory. But
I'll
if you
find that.
can't find it, yeah, just let me know and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll get Code Wars will finish their SPARQL ingestion. They have a bunch of SPARQL queries or SPARQL tests that we wrote to train people to use SPARQL. They're still slowly plotting a way to set it up in their infrastructure. So one day, Code Wars will have a whole playground for you to learn SPARQL with.
Code Wars, huh? I don't even know what that is.
Check it out.
Sounds like a cool game show on G2 from like 2007 or something.
Oh yeah, that would match up.
And I put in some print statements and I see what's happening is that these data points aren't getting time. So then when we get dropped from missing values, we get dropped.
If somebody else wants to share screens, they can, by the way. Like,
No, this is useful to watch you do this because I'm looking at like my first thought for what you're typing is why wouldn't you just filter out everything owl instead of thing and nothing? But then if you think about it, the object properties are the relationships. There's probably a bunch of owl stuff in there, so you can't do that. So I'm trying to figure out what from the top level down, like how to structure it, and then the bottom up is actually writing the query, which is what I'm not good at.
yeah, and I feel like it just, at least for me personally, there's like days where I get the SPARQL query directly, and there's just days where I have to really take it a little slow to try to think about what I'm doing. Um, and I think it's just the case that I'm just not like super comfortable with it, to the degree that I should be at least, or I feel like I should be.
I mean,
That's okay. That's why we're in
sorry.
this class. No, you're fine.
I just always like English it out first and then worry about sparkling it later. Like if I can at least figure out what I'm trying to do, which sounds like the easy part, but also is not that simple. Then it becomes a lot easier to like figure out what, and then you kind of learn, okay, you have to either filter or select or whatever thing you can write out the idea you already have, which becomes a lot easier for me at least.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I know when I've done SPARQL before, although I've done it with like very small, like turtle file or like, just very small CSV files that I'm looking for. So it's like it wasn't doing a lot of jumps. And I'm okay with doing that. But like, yeah, if I was trying to do like, I think it's just like I'm not taking advantage of SPARQL is what one of my main issues is. It's like I know how to do basic jumps, but it's just taking advantage of it. But yeah, I was talking to a buddy and he was doing a lot of SPARQL and he was telling me that's exactly pretty much exactly what he told me what he does. He's like, yeah, I just write out what I want to do, type it out, and then underneath that, I'll start trying to figure out like how that looks like in SPARQL. And I'm just like, um, so. I mean, it's a great strategy. Seeing if multiple people are doing it.
Well, I mean, because truthfully, not to take away from the value of writing SPARQL, but if you could think out what you're trying to do, you just need an LLM and then you're pretty much done. Um,
Yeah,
and thinking out what you're trying to do is not that easy. Like I'm still trying to figure that out every time I'm writing any kind of SPARQL query about anything. I don't know. So I'm just not wasting like too much time locking in every semantic detail about SPARQL, I guess. This might be stupid.
no, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it just depends on, I don't know, and maybe I'm valuing it, or maybe I just have the wrong perception of the needs. But like, I just want to have the answers. Sometimes, I don't want to keep asking questions. So part of me is kind of like, okay, well, might as well try to like really get it down. Um,
Yeah.
But whether that's like the correct method or, like you said, like sometimes you just want to get it done. Like whatever you need to get done, you need to get done. And I think there's a lot of value in being able to do that as well.
There's something about,
I mean, if you can, you should. I'm just trying to reserve some brain allocation for everything else I'm trying to learn at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's so fair. I'm in the same boat. So I think at the end of the day, I do something similar. So
since, there's no direct relation.
So here's a question. Why are you like this goes to my question about SPARQL and how it's structured.
So
Why are you filtering like how SPARQL's structured? You're filtering out owl anything that's an owl thing or an owl nothing. You're filtering out those classes. Could you not construct a SPARQL query to say that if the class is not all classes must have a BFO superclass? And I hate those terms because I don't know what I know the BFO diagram, but I don't know what's a BFO superclass.
yes. Yeah.
I'm guessing that's either entity or current or continuant.
yeah,
But wouldn't you just say, hey, couldn't you just say the class label and then add another quantifier on there to say, talking in English, to say if there's a chain that goes from an owl class, which you had to make, but you still put it underneath of a BFO class, then you would want to include that. So uh, I'm just curious. I'm way behind you on this, Christian, as we kind of talked about Saturday a little bit. Thoughts on that?
yeah. I mean,
If that question made sense.
no, I think I'm grabbing onto what you're asking, and it was something that I was just thinking about right now as I was typing this. Like I said, you guys are seeing the full, the full like I usually don't write SPARQL like in one go, and it's like perfect. I usually have to go back and like rethink it through a bit. But um, yeah, give me a second. Let me. Or here, I'll just put this over so you guys could see like what I'm looking at on the other screen. So she sends all this email, and she's like, and she's honestly, as mad as she is, she's very polite. I read it, I'm like, oh, that's sweet.
So yeah, it just goes. I automatically go to some of the other work I've done just in my career, and you can get to the answer a couple different ways.
Yeah,
And picking the right way for the situation you're in is sometimes harder than you think.
yeah, I think that's right. Um,
Yeah, and I guess the other question is for that query, if you filter the owl class thing, if you filter those out thing and nothing, are you filtering everything below that out, or are you just filtering those two classes? Because I'm not as familiar with how owl is constructed.
Yeah, I mean, some files use alf. I know I've seen alfing being used
I got it.
in some other turtle files before, and I think because the LLM is thinking like I think I asked it very general question. Oh, I didn't even ask it a question. I think I accidentally like put this in and it figured out what I was trying to ask, and it was like, oh, it seems like you're trying to do a SPARQL query for this. So here's a SPARQL query for it. It doesn't know what exactly. Um, I'm trying to filter out or like what sort of turtle files I'm messing with that I want to filter out. So it's doing a very general, just like this is how you kind of filter,
They really are. Like they have been given.
assuming that you're like using like random turtle files, like it's also just trying to filter this out, even though I don't think I have alfing in either file.
I think they try to aim for this. So they're like.
Okay.
Do
So
I?
to be
It is
useful,
owl here, so oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
you got the brief. To be
Yeah.
useful, I'll type the question in the Claude because I pay for Claude. Um, I'll have it generate a SPARQL query and put it in there. See what Claude says.
Oliver was like.
Let me see. It's write a SPARQL query.
Yeah, there's no alfing in here, so it should be fine.
I'm like, bro, I'm not.
So I really don't need to have it. I could, it's like a waste of a line.
I got the.
This is a lot shorter, so I don't have to do that, but
So the question would be write a SPARQL query that checks a .ttl file
Anyway, can't wait.
for compliance
I can't wait to.
with
I didn't want, so I did not.
to comply with the to highlight to.
And I was like, Chuckle could do it. Chuckle was on board and then he wasn't a member. And then for Fabian reached out and it's like, they actually want you. And I was like, well, of course they do. I don't have time. So I was looking at Chuckle. And Laura, when she recommended you, I was like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, and I don't know what superclass means in BFO. Where's that line?
Yeah, so I'm ready to sign. I'm ready to
yeah,
maybe better. He's interested.
I don't have a good answer. So let me also look into that. So
Remain afloat. I gotta stay out for like another year.
Hopefully Zoom lets me paste this. Nope. Too many characters.
you can also put it in Slack. I have it open on my side.
All right, I'll put it in Slack.
Oh,
There,
whoops.
it's in Slack.
Perfect. I'm just stop sharing real quick because I got to open Slack over here.
Yep.
I just don't want to. Perfect. Didn't know what window it was going to open in. I was like, oh gosh.
On the test you wrote for number 6, it requires there.
So, okay, I see.
In the SDC and the unit, like, I couldn't say like, oh, if there's a mice that is a measurement of a certain type, that mice must use.
Oh, I like the way Claude did it. They explained why it did each line of code.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So it queried everything and it filtered out the classes that were not in BFO.
Yep.
And then
Exactly what I mean, that sounds like what I'm doing.
Then it makes sure that everything's under entity as well,
there's a
Yeah.
which is nice.
Is there
Yep.
another entity?
So depending on the definition of BFO superclass, you could just add a line in there. I mean, but if it's all under BFO, then it's all there. Like
Yeah. So I don't think, again, it's just kind of like the scope of how restrictive you want to be, I guess.
yep.
Um, and I think I get away without using like the owl thing and owl nothing just because I know the files that we're messing with don't
Yeah.
have owl thing or nothing. So it's like I don't need to worry about that. Um, yeah, it really is kind of like a game of like
About the literal.
checkers, I guess, but you're trying to be as efficient as possible. Like how many moves do I have to make? And I don't have to make
Correct.
to win this game. Yeah, so I mean,
There's a mice.
filter class, BFO. I mean, aside from the entity that I'm missing on your code, I'm also using Claude, by the way. So it's very
Okay.
similar. So
Got it.
so I'm looking at your response. I'm like, this is very similar to what I was looking at as well. So um,
The only thing I'll actually make.
which is good. Yeah. So I think the only thing I'm missing now is the order by question mark class,
Just make sure you.
and I think that's done for this. And if I just read it over, I'm looking for a class. Although I could remove label. I don't have label on here.
So Claude put that in there as a suggestion to make it easier to figure out what you're talking about. Or like if
Yeah.
you have a large ontology, it'd be useful for this
Yeah, if I had a
purposes.
larger file, it would be great because then it'd point out exactly what you're looking for, like what it's picking up, like that's not
Yep.
conforming. But just because I know the files don't have that, it's like, okay, cool. I don't need it. Do I want to include the label? I do have a label here. What is it doing? For every class, it's just showing a label for it. Yeah, why not?
Christian, you're working on step 4, correct?
Yes. Sorry, I always forget the steps. I'm pretty sure that's a yes.
So- okay.
It's between step 3 and 4. So I'm at step 3 actually, because step 3 is construct the SPARQL queries. And then I'll be moving on to step 4 afterwards, which should be a pretty quick step since I just have to run. Unless there's an Easter egg in that Python file, then it might not be this quick.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't started any of this yet, so I'm way behind.
Oh, you're good. Like I said, I only had like a half a day Saturday to kind of work on this a bit, so I'm very happy John extended this. I was like, oh, thank God. Thought I was gonna cram it all today.
So I'm gonna paste one more. Claude actually gave me a larger one,
Okay.
an expanded query. It said here's an alternative version that's more comprehensive, shows the direct super classes of the problematic classes to help with debugging, which is interesting.
Oh, accidentally opened up Protege. Not a problem.
I'm just gonna put this under the thread so I don't clog up the main message board with just a bunch of random code that somebody will come back and look at.
Well, after 90 days, it disappears, so it's fine.
That's true.
It's the only annoying part about Slack. Sometimes I feel like I just want to make a Discord server for everybody so that your messages can always be there.
Yeah, does Discord have storage limits?
I think it does in terms of just like files, but and I think also like the size of files, but if it's a big file, you could probably find like a Dropbox or a drive that you want to put it in there. But like I said, the highlight is that Discord keeps all your messages. I think I saw messages from like 2016 there.
Yeah, that might be. Is John listening?
Might be an idea. I mean, we could also do one. I don't know if
Because there's a lot of valuable stuff that like is posted in the Slack. But yeah, yeah, anyway, let's
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be bad to do one just for like school, I guess. just for the purposes of keeping all those notes. Okay, it wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of be able to look back on all this, all the SPARQL that we put. All right, let's see. To find all classes, we got that, got the labels. Get direct superclasses. Okay, it's pretty similar. I think the only thing it's really adding is the superclass portion. It's saying a class is a direct superclass, then a direct superclass is a type of class.
So the only issue I see with that code though is I still don't know where, like,
I don't think it's doing too much more.
yeah, I just don't know how the computer is interpreting, like, how does it interpret superclass? Because I've never,
I mean, superclass is just a label, so it's not, as far as I can see, it's not doing anything. Like it's just a regular class. Like, yeah, I think superclass is just like this sort of yeah, it's just like a label for class, specifically referencing any BFO class. Um, so at least in my brain, I don't know if this is right, but I'm pretty sure it sounds like it's just saying class, BFO class is a superclass. So any BFO class is a superclass. That's all it's saying.
okay, all right.
Um, and I guess that kind of makes sense because we're in CCO, so CCO is the mid-level. It's just trying to make sure that we're aligning with the top. So okay, I'm moving. I think
Yep.
I'm gonna leave this as is and move on to the
You
next
should
one.
try to test this. So you should test it. And you should do it in the following way. You should create a turtle file, a little turtle file, and have a BFO entity, IRI, or just really because it's just checking for that first string. Just plug that in and then append it with something like entity. And then you should have in the turtle file that you're using to check, you should have another class, and you should have it asserted as a subclass of whatever that BFO class is that you put in. And then you should have another class, and you should have it not asserted as a subclass of that BFO class.
Got it. So you want me to make a small file?
Yeah. And then
Um,
run this against that.
okay. Let me do that. I think the easiest way to do that would be doing something like this. Hmm, I could just load in CCO real quick. Then I could go ahead and already has a bunch of
They even just
things.
run that file or that code, that script against CCO, because I think it might return classes.
Okay, I could do that as well. I've never gotten SPARQL to work properly on version of this. Let me try. Let me try to see if I could figure that out real quick. I've always used like GraphDB to just like upload it on there. I go like the way. I jump so many hoops just to do some SPARQL sometimes.
Are you looking for the window?
Yeah, I am.
Go to the window. Right up at the top, it says window right there, and then go to tabs,
Thank you.
and then SPARQL.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I don't remember who it was I was talking to that was also having trouble with SPARQL on here. Oh, hey, it's working.
Yeah, then you just
Yeah,
copy and paste in here.
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't even bring that up. It was just blank every time. And I was just like, this is awesome. No idea why. Um, execute.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah.
Thought that was coming. There's a syntax here in one of the filter clauses.
Thanks.
Oh, we'll go back. You should read the where.
I
Or you
was
can
just
look
gonna
at
look.
VS Code and it's not a highlight. It sort of highlighted what was going on. So look at that line 21.
Yep. I just thought it was giving me a red bracket for fun.
Hmm. As long as it gives you another one.
All right. I think we should be good. Also save this. Well,
Uh-oh. Oh.
another error.
There you
Line
go.
14,
36.
line 14.
Column 36. Don't waste time. Plug it in and say, tell your favorite LLM you got a syntax error. Where is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of a monotonous, spend too much time debugging the easy stuff. Let them do that.
I said I was missing another parentheses. Sweet.
All right. Did it fix it for you?
Yeah, it did. I'll just copy paste it. We'll just actually just do this. We'll just test it and then I'll
There you
paste it.
go. Nice.
Amazing.
I'll take the error and drop it in. Essentially, I'm getting the machines to talk to each other rather than you. You're just kind of like, you're glue now. And soon we'll just have them talk to each other without you.
That's the scary part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Right.
What?
Mm-mm.
Amazing.
Wait, hold
It
on. Go
gave it gave
again.
me two options. It was like, if that doesn't work, try this one as well. I was like, okay, cool.
There you go.
There.
All right. So yeah. So ideally you would have gotten nothing.
Sweet.
Yeah, the reason is the query should be checking for like, you know, ultimately, ultimate classes. So you want like a BFO root. Every class has to come ultimately from a BFO class. But what your script is looking for now is like direct parenthood. And so a class like stasis of disposition has a parent, but it's not a BFO parent, it's a CCO parent. It does ultimately have a BFO parent, but it's higher up in the chain. And so you have to look for that embedding. And there's a way to do it. Like if you're looking at SPARQL, the syntax, there's a way to kind of do, you know, traversals. You can look through like, and I encourage you to go either ask your favorite LLM, how do I look up and down the chain? It'll give you a syntax like a plus that goes right after subclass of. You should ask it, say, look, I mean to look for ultimately no parent, no BFO parent in this query, not just no immediate parent. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And I just need a root certified because the first yeah was kind of like unsure. I was just like
Yeah.
I just want to try this one out real quick because it did include
Not really, but I.
Static representation. There, we've got one semantics, these things are related to those things. Already have looked at the way to interact with. There you go. And those data frames, and it's a way to like transform that data.
A different response.
And so RDF lib is set up to create a class.
Yeah.
Kernel.
Look up.
What you want to write is code that says, hey, whenever you're looking at this column,
Yeah.
I want you to convert it into this or that, this turtle in this graph. And that may mean we'll add stuff that's not directly in the original data, like relationships. Like if we were doing this for our second project, we've been adding things like continuum partners, to the graph, or sorry, to the data. And then be like, this shared engine doesn't have continuum part of some, or is this jet that's not continuum part of some engine, even though all you're having the data is like jet engine, right?
Yeah.
So RDF lib allows you to kind of put that data down. So what you're doing here is you look at that canonical data, and you look at that design pattern. It's pretty simple. The design pattern is the same that you're going to be using to guide you in RDF lib. So your RDF lib should look like, you should be able to read it and say, this is the, and now the translation, the steps are going to go from the RDF lib ingestion of the data from, the canonical tables in that data frame, and then using that, like, you'll have like specific RDF lib scripts that say, just do this, do this, do this, do that, and that do that is going to look very much like it should look like the design. Okay. The LLM be a friend. Documentation on RDF lib is pretty good too. I learned the whole old school hardware.
Sorry, a little silent. Just also doing reading on my side.
But it is, you're basically playing like this middle band role.
So I'm reading this.
Yeah. So you'll see like, data, you'll have like, home two. You're gonna write, the code is gonna say, when you see home two, here's what I want you to do. I want you to generate the 3 units CC or
Oh, okay.
and then it's gonna have to be, whatever the number home two.
So I looked on GPT, and it says something about a super class label. Didn't know if that was what John was referring to.
Super class label. Yeah, I was thinking of trying out.
You'll have these triples.
I just remembered that Sam posted one.
Okay.
And that's not working. Because Sam's had a super class label to it.
No. It will be an instant for that. But also say, look, it's going to be measurement information. You can think of it as just like a little something. Now, you want to do with measure of that
Yeah.
uses measurement unit, how do you say for this is helpful. Like filling that in, look at the table, and we put something there. Then we should make columns.
I think I'm confused about this.
Well, we just have to. So you're basically like taking down and enriching it with this.
Well, it looks like your query works, Sam. I got nothing.
So I think John was expecting, if you look, I think John was expecting you to get something because he seemed to allude that CCO still has quality issues. I think he was expecting something. I'm reading.
Guess you're right.
Are you still doing the parent class one?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wouldn't be expecting anything here. So
Okay, got it.
so there's nothing in the CCO hierarchy that's outside of BFO. So it's all under the scope of BFO ultimately. And so your query shouldn't return anything. And that's true for the other queries. So any of the queries I asked you to write, you should return 0. It's just that if you were to run a reasoner over all of them, the design pattern that I gave you makes some shortcuts, some improvements, I'll say, to the information model in CCO that will generate an inconsistency. So it's the reason I didn't ask you to run a reasoner. You can still do targeted querying on it, and that'd be fine. And so with the targeted querying here, it should return, nothing for all of the SPARQL queries.
Yep. And I just tested to make sure that it does that as well.
Great.
It's showing awesome as a class that's outside of entity.
Okay.
That's awesome. Sweet. Yeah, so I guess we did need that superclass distinction there, Sam. Even though I didn't think we did.
I was going to ask John about Superclass, but he disappeared.
Oh no.
I'll be right
He'll be
there.
back.
Okay.
We have all these.
Okay.
No, that makes sense.
Sweet.
This will be the output.
Well, I mean, copy this.
The output. So the script is like so look at the data and it's
Go back over here.
generating.
I didn't do that.
So like, we'll go back to the data. Yes, your script is going to be like, okay,
Save.
look at a device name. I'm going to create an artifact instance.
And one down. Let's go.
Okay, let's see. This one is, so this SPARQL query is annotation white space. No extra annotation white space. No annotation values may have leading or trailing white space. I can throw that into Claude.
Target type CCO artifact can have error of relationship asserted to some specifically defined. But now you know, okay, my script should also generate a specifically defined continuum.
Right.
And then, okay, that thing that I'm generating is gotta be the RCC, and it's measured. It's measured by itself. So now, at that point, you're going back over here. I need to have a measurement. It's going to use some measurement value. Oh, when you're looking for the measurement value, look in the file. And then for the value itself, look over on this column. And also
Claude is thinking.
we'll have a temperature. Probably one of
Let's see. I'm also running it just Cloud as well, just because I'm curious to see if we get different responses or not. Might as well compare.
I'm sorry.
Do you want the simple one or the comprehensive one?
Okay.
So what you want to do there is
Interesting. You gave me one simple one.
I am using Opus 4.1, whatever the.
Oh, gotcha. You're using that. Yeah, I'm using Sonnet 4.5.
Okay.
Look here.
I just put it in the Slack. Be interesting to see if in that same thread. Be interesting to see if
Yeah, like here's the thing that's related.
do a direct comparison.
Oh
See
man,
if
yours is so much more. Yeah, no.
so Opus is better, I guess is the conclusion.
Yeah, you're like, I'll just copy yours in here, but yeah, I'll show you what I got. Like this is what it gave me. It's not nearly as
Comprehensive.
yeah. Yeah, like mine just filters out two things. Yours is filtering out so much more.
Yeah, because it says annotation properties, so any one of those you
Yeah.
should fall under annotation properties. So yeah, it looks like Opus does a better job.
Mm-hmm.
Or it expands on what you ask much better than the other one.
Right.
Look at the documentation.
Yeah.
Now I wonder.
And you really wanna, like, Candace is my favorite, because you're gonna wanna interact with
Wonder if this works. Let's try it.
Well, I guess go back to your awesome class and then just put some annotation properties and some white spaces in that.
It's true.
Yeah, just saying, Sam was waiting patiently and I'll pop over here. Hello.
So I had a question, John, on the superclass thing. The instructions said a superclass of BFO. I was trying to, like, in all the literature I've read so far, nothing I saw said, clearly define what a superclass is.
Mhm.
But in the query Christian wrote, superclass made a difference. So I'm wondering what's that connection?
Yeah, there's a difference between, and the distinction you might look at is one between like parent class and superclass.
Okay.
So, and this is maybe it's not so often discussed in the ontology literature. It's more or less out of set theory. So like the underlying semantics is set theoretic. And so I kind of fall into the detailed semantics when I'm thinking querying and reasoning. And so when I say something like superclass, I mean like parents up the chain. When I mean parent class, I mean like the immediate parent. So, independent continuant is it has an immediate parent continuant, right? And but specific, and then quality has an immediate parent, specifically dependent continuant. It has a superclass parent, you might say, or superclass of continuant. So like up the chain, and all of the classes in BFO have entity as a superclass, for example.
Okay, so everything in BFO is a superclass, and depending on the perspective you're looking at it from CCO or whatever ontology you're looking at it, if it goes to a BFO class on the BFO hierarchy diagram, then it's a superclass.
Almost. It is a relative notion. So, it's not exactly the case or correct to say that everything in BFO is a superclass. It's because the superclass known like naming convention is essentially just looks directly up the chain. So everything above a class is a superclass. I'll use the locution parent class to mean just the immediate superclass of a given class. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. I'm still trying to visualize it, how that works in my head, but
Okay.
I get the overall.
Okay. So like Christian, if you can just pop open entity real quick, I could just use examples visually. So a current is a subclass of entity,
Yep.
and entity is a subclass of our thing, as everything is. A current has its parent class entity, like the parent class of a current is entity. Entity is also a superclass of a current, and so is our thing. But our thing is not a parent class in this sense of a current. It's a grandparent.
So it really depends how you're layering the ontology and structuring it. All right,
So
got it.
this superclass parent class distinction is like it's relative depending on where you are.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
I need to see what they're doing. Measurement unit force.
Number 7, SHACL constraint says that there can be.
So the query worked and it found something.
It did, but I'm trying to add an empty space to that awesome class that it's not appearing, and I'm just like, what are the other ones doing that I'm not?
In the Excel sheets.
Right? Yes, it's saying it found it in what, the example?
Artifact could have
found it in unit of force, damage stasis, a successor.
Yeah, so it's saying it's found it in the SCOS example of this one. And where's the blank space? Oh no, there it is. There's a blank space right here.
My ontology.
So if I erase it
there's
and close it,
one specific.
I think you'd have to save it.
For a certain artifact, like there's
maybe it worked.
Oh, nice.
I think it has. I think when you change stuff, it saves it automatically.
Okay.
Boilers.
Don't quote me on that. I don't want you working on it, and then it all deletes. Always,
No,
always.
I made it a habit to save anything in Protege
Same, same. I've done the same, especially with
often.
VS Code as well, because I feel like VS Code has actually pretty good autosave feature, but knowing my luck,
Like,
it won't save at the best time.
we allow for.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, no, your query works. So maybe I should start switching over to Opus.
I think
So
I've hit the limit on that once. They're still limiting it, but like if you're just asking it stupid questions like what's the most reviewed, whatever, what's the best restaurant in the area, like wasting it, but
yeah, no, I got you. Sweet.
that's too much work though. They keep switching every time you want to ask a simple question versus a complicated question.
Well, just gotta say thank you, Sam. You're helping me out a lot here, and you're helping yourself out, I guess, because
Yeah, I'm learning how to do this. I'm watching you, but it's all right. So definition required. Doing the next one.
Last time Sonic brought it up. So,
It shouldn't be too bad.
yeah,
But it's just-
the less it's learned about. So, yeah, that would be fine to do. Because it seems weird, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want you to encounter this weirdness in the wild. Because it's complicated. It's complicated, but a lot of people do think. I can tell you that. Or let you discover. You'd be like, yes. I remember this.
So a lot of this is just semantics too. So I'm looking at the constraint. Any class or object property must have a non-empty definition with an English language tag. That's an interesting way to say it. So you could just have all stars in there and it'd be, or you could have like you could have like non-readable characters in there and it would come up as good.
Yep, that's right.
Or acronym.
Let's see. I'm getting a response right now. And this is the response I got. This is well. Let's see.
Ah, interesting.
We are good. So let's see. This is just a bit larger here since I'm not using the other
So
window too much.
Opus even wrote me a more comprehensive query for missing English definitions and shows what's present too.
Really? Okay. Are you putting that in the Slack?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just know how to ask better questions than I do, maybe. That's what's going on right now. So I gotta start upping my
Yeah.
because I do ask like very like minimal, like just very simple questions, like uh make one for the following, and I just like copy pasted the prompt, and that's all.
Okay, it's there.
Curious to see what. Yeah, okay, yeah, you definitely.
I guess I'll go edit these and say this is the tags and what they returned.
Mm-hmm. Name individual, object property, data property. Check for all definitions.
So I don't do it.
Would you guys mind sharing some of the stuff in Slack with me so I can kind of play with it as well?
Are you in the Slack channel? This is like,
Yeah, he's putting in the Ontology Tradecraft if you're in that one.
yeah,
Let me see.
And if not, I could link the channel so you can.
I'll put the link in the Zoom.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, apparently I'm not on that one.
I just put the link in the Zoom.
Cool, thank you.
Perfect. Man, let's try. I'm gonna try checking mine first, just because
Okay, go for it.
it is a little
That's a
shorter.
complex, yeah.
I want to see if it works. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shoot. Oh wait, no, I got the. Oh, I got an error. Okay, without fixing mine, let me try yours real quick. It's doing something very interesting.
Uh-oh.
That's a pretty complex query
It
that
is.
checks for English definitions and shows the context. So Claude, um, Opus 4.1 is actually really good because that's what this is.
Mhm. Tell it
So
to
in fact,
simplify.
what's that?
Tell it to simplify this. Like,
So no, this is a query that will tell you if your definition's crap or not, really is what it
oh,
is.
is that right? So it's like, guess what? Guess what, CCO? This is
Yeah,
all garbage.
It's all garbage.
Let me look. Let's see. How is it picking out the definitions? What's the constraint entity? RDF type, RDF named individual, individuals, object property. Okay. I would, for one, I would make those union clauses a values clause because this union thing is it like runs through, tries to pattern match and then aggregates everything together. But and it's complex. It's like complexity in terms of complexity theory. What you could do is introduce a values clause that runs through in a cycle, and checks all of those properties. But that aside, check for definitions optional, defin property, filter, SCOS definition, OBO, IAO. What does CCO use for definitions? I think they have their own property. Go to entities and check. Let's see. Oh, they use SCOS definition. Okay, never mind. So go back to the SPARQL query. So it should be checking that. SCOS definition. It should only use SCOS definition actually, but yeah, that aside. Keep the ones that have no definitions. All right. Check. Now in the query I asked you to write, I said object properties and classes, right? Not named individuals.
that's
Classes
it.
are object properties.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not an empty definition.
For us. Yes, you can ignore the individuals. In fact, you should ignore the individuals. Wahaha. Yeah. So you want to get rid of the named individual binding?
Yeah, that's it.
And you also want to get rid of the data type property binding. I'm just asking for annotations if you have any of that. Yeah, so it's just object properties and classes. What we got? The nose look like they have. Ah, yes. Dun dun dun. Check those. Check it out. Go look up is father of. How dare you, CCO? No definition. That thing's going away. You might want to drop those cases, but good on you for testing, right? But you might, like for your query, you might not want to use all CCO because some of it's missing definitions just like this, and that'll throw an error, but it's not an error with you, it's an error with them.
Got it.
But CCO is a good option. It's a good place to check these queries against because it has stuff like this in it. This is a known issue. So it is returning these with definitions and English tags, though.
Yeah, definitions and English tags, and I think this is the expanded one that the LLM gave me. So it's comparing it to as optional, define the properties, cost definition, and then
Yeah.
define property in accordance with IAO.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's doing that.
It's doing an OR filter. So if you're looking up, if you look up at that question mark def property, it says check for SCOS def or check for OBO IAO or check for RDFS comment.
Okay.
Yeah. Those
Got
like
it. So if it has one of those things, it's throwing
yeah.
it.
Yeah. And it's basically looking for how they're characterizing definitions. So SCOS definition is the way that we usually do it. So you actually only need to check SCOS definition. If we were playing with OBO ontologies, you'd need like the OBO one, and we definitely don't use comment for definitions. You can replace, the way to do this is you look for def prop, that question mark def prop, and just replace it with SCOS def anywhere you see it. So
Okay.
under that bind clause in entity bind def, or like right under the filter. So you can simplify there. You can do the same. You can do the same for it under the optional clause. Yep, and then you can drop those filters. You want to put a space between SCOS def and let's see. So you've got
Uh-oh, what'd I do?
You're coming in really far away, Christian.
What happened?
I think it
Sounds like the microphone's way away from here. There you go.
Turn my head over a little bit and it won't pick me up anymore.
Let's see, optional, if it has any def, checking if it has any def. I mean, you can get rid of that optional clause. Because you don't want it to return if it has the definition. Let's run it now. Okay. All right, got object properties and classes, you got entities. This has definition. English def.
All blank.
Yeah, I mean that's the let's see. So what you're I see. So okay, so this is great. This is great info for everybody to learn. So what you're doing now is you're binding or you're including within the scope of your pattern matching anonymous classes. So anytime you introduce an hour restriction, you introduce an anonymous class because everything has to be set to set, right? Class to class. And so look at the top, you see not spatial region. It is a class. It gets a declaration that is a class. Right? What class is that? Not spatial region. It's a class that's being used in the file somewhere to introduce a restriction. Like in various clauses, you'll say this, like something is not a spatial region. And so you need to filter out anonymous classes. So tell your LLM, I need to filter out anonymous classes. If you play around with GraphDB, this has come up before. because they don't default filter out anonymous classes, but see.
No, I didn't share this, but I could not spell anonymous for a second here. And I was just like, why? Why does this look so wrong?
Yeah, I can't spell either.
I was just like, I figured I'd just let you know that in case you're struggling with anonymous, I am too.
Awesome.
Uh, okay, let's see what it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. Stage for the goes to stage to the graph first, and they start building.
Okay.
So it gets all classes,
Yeah, that makes sense.
object property classes, filter out anonymous or blank nodes, filter out built-in, check for optionals. No, I don't think we need this.
String definitions and binding it to a language. Yeah, I don't know if you need it or not, but see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, wait, what did I do? Did I not select all of it? Did I mess up here? I think I did. Try this. That's a lot shorter. Okay. It's tripping me out. Yeah, so remove the language.
Make sure that they ready. And like, so if they're being called out,
Hmm.
already invested.
So we just check for once.
Don't have them. Doesn't care what that.
Yeah.
You don't have
It's
them.
for
Maybe
each
other-
one, right?
That's right. We have, so are you using all of these?
Yeah, I went through
Okay,
the test.
okay.
And then I
Just mess with it over here.
I probably, yeah. Honestly, it happens, right?
Yeah.
We might, again, trade, like, hey,
Yeah.
error, and be like, here's my file, what did I do?
Okay.
In fact, that is what I'm doing.
Okay.
I was sort of curious, but you, it sounds like you
I
understand.
understand the errors. I just understand.
Okay, so now it's showing everything. It has a definition. We were looking for, doesn't have anything.
Okay, so then.
There's that.
Oh yeah, look at that. Check their definition status.
Where's the one you-
Um,
Try this.
yeah, because
Make sure they're using the right IRI.
Um,
Think here, so artifact design is a CCO file.
okay.
So you gotta use that. That was kind of implicit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because I have individual again in here. I just realized.
I'm doing that.
That's not.
Or added it back in. Why would it
So what you got is EX. So this is an example.
get all classes individuals?
yeah, but that's got the
Oh wait, it's just a
pound
random.
sign. Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
a comment. Shouldn't pick that up.
Yeah, I read it and I was looking down. I was like, wait, no, there is no individual class here. Why did it say that?
You want to look through all of those labels that I gave you. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, so this is like reuse. Not all of them are in the CCO file, but some of them have. So it's kind of.
Okay, so it says check.
Okay.
So at the bottom, check if it has any definition. So we're looking for non-definitions. So bind, so that last line, or at the very bottom, it says
Mm,
check if it has any definition. We want to check if it doesn't have.
Yeah.
I think that's it,
That's really the big sticking point.
Okay.
if I read that right.
yeah, no, I think you're right. Let me try.
Say it somewhere, I was like, but I didn't have to call it out either. Like, absolutely. Maybe we did. I feel like I may have felt bad. I was like, maybe not that scared.
I mean, that's a.
Yeah, I'm always trying to balance like trick you up, but I'm too much.
Yeah.
So that was one of those ones like.
I think this did it because all these don't have definitions. And there's my awesome because I have it as a blank.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I think that did it. Let's do another check.
If I were to write this.
So awesome's there. That makes sense. Object properties. Yeah, these are all the object properties. Is nephew is event. Is ant of is event. Oh. Yeah. Get this worked. Sweet.
Okay.
You have over.
Figured it out. Let's see. So we'll go ahead and copy, paste, save. There it is. And I'll make sure to upload this to my fork. So if you guys want to like, oh, I can't remember what SPARQL query he wrote, like just you guys could just check it out through my fork.
Okay.
I'll make sure to update it so you guys can just pull it up whenever.
Yeah, basically that. And the only.
So let's see, Al property must have an RDFS label. I'm imagining it's going to be very similar to the one we just wrote, but let me see.
Yeah, you want to try and just modify the one we just wrote, see if we can do it by hand instead of.
Sure. All right, you know what? I think I already still have it.
Yeah. And ontology must have an RDFS label. Ontology. This is ontology title.
Oh, yeah, you're right. An owl ontology must have an RDFS label.
So we need a label, RDFS label, select a distinct, except it wouldn't be an entity. Where do they keep where do they put the metadata for the like how do we point the computer to where the metadata, where the label is for the ontology?
I have to like take a step back because I realized you were saying stuff like the measurement units most likely have IRIs and CCL.
Yes.
I just realized, before I do the SPARQL and before I do the SHACL, even though
Actually,
I
think.
like fix all this IRI stuff.
Yeah, you're just checking I think it like one field.
Yeah.
Really.
That's right.
So, yeah,
I
it
got you.
was like, oh, I'm almost done, and then I'm like, wait, no,
Hold up.
yeah,
But now here, like, now you won't have it again?
hopefully.
I think it won't, right? Like, I learned a lot of this on the job and I was like,
Yeah.
so now it's a sterile environment.
Yeah,
A little more space. Now you're gonna go in like a big shot.
because I didn't
I think you
know.
need a.
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't even think you need that.
But it's not like bring it on, but yeah, I like a challenge.
Yeah, I didn't know that like the test would be requiring like a lot of.
Question entity.
A lot of like, part of the reason this,
Um,
I'm finding value in this is because like there aren't
So
it's like those out there ever. You have to like just know things break and you're like, what did that happen? And it's part of some bigger suite of systems. They're like, but now can do better at the testing, and so it's going to be valuable in general, but certainly for training in a sterile environment.
maybe I don't need this actually.
No, yeah, I don't think you do. I mean, you're looking for an ontology, a label where it has a label. And filter is blank label. So you're filtering out and out. You want to know, so that filter is blank label.
Like I clone stuff and
You want to filter out is not blank, I think.
I was cleaning it up because
I don't know how you do that in code, but on
Yeah.
one line of a 21 or yeah, line 21.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I don't know how it's working under hood. So if it was like
Now, what the exclamation mark is, that's the negative.
or
Right. It's not as blank.
Copilot, I mean Copilot, yeah, Copilot is helping me. So I run stuff that actually work.
Filter not blank.
Okay, so.
Well, that should be fine then, right?
If the exclamation point is a negative, then your filtering out is blank. So it must have a label.
Is blank, all right.
Yeah, I was thinking that would be correct.
Yeah.
Okay, try it. I don't think we need the last
That's
23.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
They're working through the SPARQL queries and like in my estimation, the progress they're making, we're working through like what they've done. Like work through a lot of common sticking points. So probably a good idea to watch the video to see where they've come across like organically come against like, oh, I have to filter out blank nodes or my code is not in my
I feel like it's not doing what we want it to do.
Yeah, we're not pointing to the right.
Yeah, we're not pointing at all to the right thing.
like
It goes up to
versus
ontology art like where is the label for
accidentally putting
Yeah.
because they all told you to.
because it seems like
Oh,
the
we're
test
bringing back all labels. That's why I gotta. Oh, I'm so silly. I need to.
I was so it's just in that.
We need to add. That's also a. What is it? Oh, we have it right here. Nope, not this one.
I was just relaying to everybody that I'm pretty pleased with the troubleshooting you guys are doing because you're coming across organically a lot of common missteps in SPARQL and you're like addressing them. So this is great. This is good TV.
I'm glad we're good for TV.
do we get the licensing rights?
Right.
Copyright MIT.
Word, sensor C, you
Yeah,
probably
so we need to also say that
readings normalized script that.
Ont has a label, and that Ont is also a
Like, hey, make sure you update
RDF type ontology.
because what I'm asking, when I give you some guidance, that's what you have to pick it up.
I think that'll
Basically, like
think that'll work. That'll fix it.
read the right file and make sure that your script
Maybe this is messed up on my phone, but find out.
Find out.
about to expand your file, your script.
So it's showing nothing.
Which
So
might,
CCO has a label, so that would be correct because you're running it against CCO.
right. So I wonder if I could try to break CCO real quick. How would I do that? I would
Love your off.
just remove the label.
He wanted me to stay for the beginning of this class and fight with him.
He mentioned last week that you guys were going to Canada on Wednesday.
Maybe I gotta save it this time.
Would students be able to?
Yeah, why not, Turtle? Oh gosh, you guys are looking at all my files. Let me just change this.
That's
Yes,
okay.
I game. That's just the
Playing class.
I play games. That's what we're breaking.
Like,
We should announce that to
They're
everybody.
broken.
Are you streaming it somewhere?
Yeah, there'll be a Zoom. Yeah. Yeah, it's so close. This came together very.
No, why is it not working?
It's very
All right, let's see if Claude has any response to this. It looks right to me, but
We didn't have the dates that and it kind of came Good, perfect. So I was at a week, so I didn't.
See what Claude's got to say. Just go ahead and copy.
Oh, they sent out an agenda. I haven't looked at it. I gotta look at it tonight. Something about. I'm supposed to go talk about something, I guess. Probably ranking things, ranking ontologies. They're gonna talk about their census ontology work. Some of the other things they've been doing since we met. But I don't know.
That's more their job, or their work or our.
It's kind of both. I'm sure Barry sent some, like we kicked back and forth some ideas.
Oh, okay. Well, we're definitely in the right direction. It gave me a different response. Let's try it. Let's try it out.
I've got plenty to talk about.
But it's still not bringing this one. So why is it not doing that?
I don't know. So I might not be able to go. This might be the meetings I can't.
Because I emailed him about it and he said to contact you.
Yeah, I might. So
You can't go now.
Nina can't go. I might not be able to. I can attend remotely. I might not be able.
All right. You know what? Sometimes Protege just does this thing where it doesn't actually show what's going on in the background. So let me. Sorry. Let me move this over, and I actually need to bring this up through here.
Not this. No, it's on the Canadian side.
It's in my documents.
I accidentally drove it in Canada like a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like driving from downtown and then I accidentally got on the Peace Bridge. And I had like
All right.
people with me. None of us had passports. I was like,
No, it doesn't have the RDFS label on here.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't
So-
see it either.
and then
Terms,
Okay.
license, it's got a comment, version info. So yeah, you took it out.
Yeah. You kind of sometimes Protege is like, even though you take it out, it's still in there. It's like every now and then it'll do that. But yeah, no.
Yeah, maybe that metadata just kind of
Hmm.
it's built in someplace else. I don't know.
Gary was so nervous.
I mean, I could run with it, but I'm not sure.
That makes sense.
I'm not sure if it'll pass.
They should have let me overboard that, even though I had a very respectable English fitness vaccine with a passport.
Let me see if I can get John's attention. John.
yeah.
You just need one passport or one passport for every person?
Supposed to have one for every.
I mean, fortunately, a few of us, including
It's in conversation.
pictures of our passport on our phone.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So, and all of us had like some sort of ID.
That's good.
So,
Yeah. So
Good.
yeah.
Try it again. Yeah, just
Very like
yeah.
15 minutes before we got to the border. I was
Shit and giggles.
I don't have a
Yeah. I hear you.
passport on it. And he was like, it was great.
But yeah, you can see what Claude kind of outputted compared to ours. It's really not like it's almost the same thing, really. We just
Yeah.
didn't need this label. Claude included it in the filter instead.
Well, I didn't say
Ont RDF type, owl ontology,
Immediately
select
checked it
distinct
out.
ontology.
I want to spread this myth as part of like how insecure the border is.
There's
my
two
dude.
instances.
Check the ontology that does not have a valid label. Filter not exist. Order by. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, by all means, it should be finding it. I don't see why it should not.
There's
Oh,
John.
John.
We can
There's
ask him.
John. There, I can see his face. Let's go.
Oh. What's up?
So we wrote this.
Okay.
And then we ran it,
Mm-hmm. Well,
and
here's a
it doesn't
problem.
bring up anything. And I have verified that I erased the RDFS label for CCO.
Mhm. Okay, go back to the script real quick.
Yep.
Okay, this is type ontology. Keep the ones that don't have label. Exclude blank node. Or ones that aren't empty. Put the put the label back in and see what happens.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I could just do this. I swear it's faster. And then Predator will be like, you changed it. There it is. And then rerun it. But it should work, right? Like it shouldn't bring back anything. So
Mm-hmm. What's it looking for? It's looking for RDFS label, and that's what you have, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and it's looking for type ontology. Is it listed as a type ontology?
Yeah. Right here, RDF type, owl
Yeah,
ontology.
okay. All right, let's keep going through the usual suspects. So you're saying keep the ones that don't have for every label, keep blank nodes.
Yeah,
Keep
because we're looking for
they're
blank.
not empty. Keep things that are not empty. Drop those two filters and run it.
Drop these two.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's working. Now let's delete that again. Let's click save just in case.
Drop the whole filter not exist clause. Try it now. Put the label back and try it now. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Like it
It should bring up something though, shouldn't it?
bringing up something.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what's going on? It's not bringing back anything. Okay.
Run it through your LLM and say this returns nothing
Yeah, no.
when queried against an ontology. I just could look up on the big screen to the squint.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, boys. I made it back to my PC. Apologies.
No, you're fine.
Did it what did it say?
It tried fixing it, but all it did was add the filter not exist. But
Did it
maybe
tell you
it's
why?
referencing.
Did
It's
it tell you
probably
why it's not
referencing.
working?
No,
Well, yeah, I don't
it
care
was just
how to fix it. I care. All right, I'm simplify the clip. So get rid of filter. Get rid of distinct.
that was I got rid of the bracket.
All right. Try it now. Replace owl ontology with named individual.
You want me to
Yeah,
replace with
owl
name?
I
OWL.
think owl
Yeah.
semicolon.
Yeah.
Yeah, uppercase N, uppercase I, individual. Okay, so that works. Is ontology uppercase or lowercase in the file?
Uppercase.
Okay, copy that. Copy that whole. Try now. Replace RDF type with A. Yeah, just simplify it all and then drop the order. Try it now. Ask the LLM why this isn't returning an ontology. And tell her you don't care if it's fixing it. You just don't understand why this isn't returning. And if it doesn't give you an answer, drop in the metadata for the ontology and say, this is what it's querying against. Why isn't this returning the IRI?
Should you do in the case where, like the data that we're working with uses the measurement kilopascal, but CCO just has Pascal? Should you like introduce a kilo subclass? It's something like
Okay. Sure.
well, both are instances.
Yeah. Be able to do that. You'll have to introduce your own instance, but you could just put Pascal and then multiply the value by 1,000.
Yeah. Maybe I could.
That's actually what I would do. Yeah, you
Or
could,
no.
you could actually, you can put math and speaking.
Or no, you probably divide by 1,000.
Oh.
I don't know.
Kilo Pascal.
What's the are you going down?
I think a kilo is 1,000.
Yeah, but is that
But not 1,000 up. Like if I buy a kilo of cocaine, it's
so
1,000 grams.
yeah, so high school science.
Yeah, this is really weird. What a funky situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
What did it say?
It had me check for anything, so it gave me like
Yeah, same.
and it didn't bring anything. So like I tried this out. No, whoops, but still didn't bring up anything. And I was just like, huh.
Okay.
Maybe Protege just doesn't like you anymore.
It might have used all my goodwill off the
Mm.
first couple queries.
Ask it if Protege checks meta value or metadata about the ontology. And it better say yes. Or ask it if the SPARQL query feature of Protege checks metadata about the ontology. That would be the more appropriate thing.
Okay, well, when I asked it the first thing, it said yes.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Yet here you are. You got there. Is the wrong prefix up there? Is that what?
That could be a possibility. Let me go ahead and it gave me another one to try out. It was like, if you're still having trouble, try this one.
Yeah,
It's not
might
working.
drop one in
Okay,
here.
let me see.
I mean, that looks like
It looks about right.
Try Mike's query. I don't know. Mike dropped one in the chat.
Let's do it.
I mean, it's the same query, just with label. But
Let's go.
That's what Chat GPT gave me.
oh shit. No, I meant there's one in the chat here.
In the Zoom chat.
Oh, Zoom chat. Sorry, we were going
Yeah.
back and forth between the.
Where did
Oops.
that go, bro? You see the methodology here, right? Like I was like simplify to something that I know should work, and then see what happens. Tried and true debugging. This has a label, right? Like,
Yeah, this one has a label.
and it is an ontology.
It is an ontology. Yeah, it's true.
Did you save it?
I did before, but let me do it again.
Again.
Yeah, no. Still nothing. Let me. Where did I put it? I put it somewhere.
CCO broken.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Well, yeah, a little bit here and there.
That might be true at all times. Yeah, RDF type, ontology, RDFS label. It's in there. And then, I mean, I could, well, it doesn't help. We're just looking for the label. Let me just restart Protege, maybe.
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 Oh, you're in the wild west of debugging now. Like, tools you use to check the tools aren't broken then.
The tool might be. All right, CCO broken.
Post on the issue tracker and be like, hey, this query it doesn't return your ontology. And Mark would be like, you're crazy. Like, well, figure it out.
You know, I'm assuming the query is not wrong. The system is.
I wish I could come back and be a savior, but I also have no idea what's going on here. So
robot. Like maybe it's a protege thing. Run robot through it and be like, run the query there. And then you do it in robot, it's still off. It's like an encoding error, or I don't know.
I mean, I could try it with a different, maybe I should just try a different file. I could also just do that real quick.
Yeah, that'll work. This one, yeah, try with a different file. And if it doesn't work in Protege, definitely try it in robot and see.
Got it.
Or like some other environment, like where you can run SPARQL against it. Protege is not the only
Try
way.
BFO. Yeah.
I mean, like, clearly Protege is the problem.
Why am I not seeing? What's that? Oh, well, it wouldn't bring up anything because BFO doesn't have an RDFS label.
Yep. You are correct.
So let's
Change the query so it search for not a label. Or is that going to be?
no, that shouldn't be a big thing.
Because I
Let's do that. Save.
I'm going to have to go in about 5 minutes or so.
No worries.
or
No worries.
TCO hierarchies, and then making a relationship between units and SDCs. And I did something else I can't remember, but now after I pasted this in my scripts, now my ontology doesn't even have measurement units anymore. So I think I might have like pasted over something important.
You could like control.
Oh, well, I don't have prefixes. That might be a reason why.
You
did before though.
Absolutely.
I think you did before.
Control Z will save your life.
I think I did before.
Yeah.
I think I just deleted
That's
them
why I
now.
have a file and then like a main file.
Absolutely. That's smart.
Like I'm double safety.
All right, let me do one of the other things John recommended was put this and then just copy the
yeah, Control Z, and I got all my stuff back.
Nice.
I just have to figure out what was so essential that it just like deleted everything.
Right. Probably 1 comma. Guys, we're 1 minute till, so
Yeah, I'll
call it and have you figure this out, but
yep.
I appreciate the effort. And,
Yep.
yeah, good work,
Yeah,
guys.
no worries.
Yeah. I'll yeah, thanks guys. This is good. Good stuff.
No worries. Just
Have a good one.
I'll put it in the Slack
Thanks.
channel. I'll be doing another Saturday sesh, so if anybody wants to join, just
Cool.
say
I'll try and come through on Saturday.
no worries.
All right.
Sounds
Have a
good.
good one, guys.
See ya.
Peace.